Hi, I'm here to address a question I'm asked a lot, to the point where I'm kind of getting tired of typing the same answer out all the time every time I get a DM on Instagram or Twitter. So I just thought I'd do a quick YouTube video here answering what seems to me a very common question, and not many people are addressing it, which is how old is too old to learn to be a doctor? This is not me saying I'm 95 years old or anything like that. I'm just a little bit older than most people in my class, like tiny, small, teeny, experienced. People ask, why did you do it? And for a long time I didn't know how to verbalize why I did it. It was just something I wanted to do. And it's not like I fostered a mad, crazy ambition to be a doctor when I was in secondary school and just didn't work out that way through the leaving cert points race or getting into college or anything like that. No, it wasn't even on my application form when I was applying for college. I had no interest. I didn't even do science subjects for my leaving cert. I did, languages, history, geography, stuff I loved. And by the way, I still love these things, so I don't think that's a hindrance. It just possibly took me a bit longer to come around to this way of thinking. So yeah, it was just something bit by bit, and then I realised I was in a job in my 20s, a job that I would have called my dream job when I was in secondary school. If anybody asked me, oh, would you like to do? I said, oh, I'd love to work in news, I'd love to be a news reporter. And I got to do that. I got to do it in 2 languages. I got to do it in radio and television. I got to work in TG Cahad and I got to work in RTE in Dublin. I was on the 6-1 news, the 9 o'clock news. I got to be GA reporter. I loved it, or I thought I loved it. But as time went on, I realised I was kind of unfulfilled for lots of different reasons, which I won't go into here, but I realised if I stayed in that path, I wasn't going to achieve what fulfilled me personally. And that's the thing when you go into kind of the psychology of why we work. Work is really important for our identity, and it's really important for you, and you need to like what you do. You really, really do. I mean, you can't love every day, that's insane. But I mean, for most days you could have a good day at the office or feel good about yourself coming home. I think that's a good thing, and I wasn't getting that what I was doing. So I was looking around trying to find things what I could do. And I realised I love learning. I went back to college, I did a master's in sport, exercise and performance psychology to build on my previous degree. I loved that. I really thought hard about doing a PhD in sports psychology, and I just found myself being drawn back to medicine. And of course all the things were there. Oh, you're too old. Oh, sure, you haven't done any science subjects. What the hell would you know about doctoring? You're not very empathetic. I am. I'm actually really nice. I don't know where people get that idea from. Anyway, I decided why not go for it. I sat the exam, the GAMSAT entry exam. Somehow I got in. In the meanwhile, I was researching colleges, went researching ones that I thought might be better for somebody of a more mature disposition like me, so to speak. And I realised what I really loved was learning, and I loved the idea of not retiring someday. Now, of course, God knows what life is going to throw at me in future. I might be dead tomorrow, or I might survive till I'm 99 and be fit and healthy till the day I die. And the great thing about medicine is you can practice up to the day you die if that's what you want to do. And the other great thing is you're constantly learning, and that's what I realised when I went back to education and even actually journalism, working in it. I loved learning, I love finding out new information, and what's better than medicine that's constantly evolving? As we've seen these days with the coronavirus pandemic, new information is constantly coming out and we need to keep learning it. So yeah, they were the reasons why I went back into it. So to address then the bigger question of what age is too old, really I'm going to say you're never too old. You're only too old if you feel you're too old, and you need to ask yourself, who's telling you you're too old? Is it the inner voice in your head? Is it people around you? Is it people you work with? Is it people who would never have the balls to throw away what they've done already to go back and do something else? And are you listening to them instead of listening to your voice that says, actually, I can do it. It's not going to be easy. Hell no, it ain't going to be easy. But if you listen to the voice that says, I can do it, but I need to create a path to figure that out, that's the voice you need to listen to. And the big thing is as well, like, people might say, God, you threw away a career all throughout your 20s, that's a waste. It's not a waste. I'm still working in media, I'm working in sports media, and I love it. And, I hope to marry that into my medical work someday. I'd love to be that team doctor who's also a sports psychologist, who maybe can also, give them tips about how to handle press and PR, which, not all teams are very good at. Naming no names. I just thought this would be a way to marry them, and the skills I've learned in my 20s are carrying me out now. I've learned teamwork, cooperation, communication, conflict resolution. That one took me a while to learn, and I really think it doesn't matter which industry you go into, it's something you're going to have to learn yourself as you get a bit older, and you learn the hard way, you learn through mistakes, you learn through loud people walking on you and telling yourself that's not going to happen again. And anyway, those skills are great for whatever career you go into, even medicine, even if it is in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. The main point of this is you're never too old. don't be looking at yourself and your timeline, don't be gauging it against other people's timelines. Other people's timelines are reasons why people get married when they shouldn't. They do college courses they're not interested in. They put off travelling because they think, oh, I should have this. They go looking for a mortgage, or they'll never have a mortgage. Do what suits you and your timeline. Listen to your own internal clock, not somebody else's. Find the confidence in yourself. So that's your first step. If you decide that you want to do medicine, you feel you're too old, work on your inner confidence, work on that little voice. I often tell people, would you say this to your best friend? And if not, why are you saying it to yourself? That's not to say it's going to be easy. It is not easy. Hell, it is hard as an old person in a medical class. And I'm not even that much older. Let's get out there again. It takes you longer to learn. I don't know if that's because, as one of the guys in my class tells me, Carl, yeah, he's always telling me, it takes you longer to learn because your brain is older. Or is it just because I was out of education for so long? And also, not only was I out of education, I was out of science education, which I hadn't done since the age of 15. And we weren't even allowed to touch the Bunsen burner. So it was a really steep learning curve. But on the other hand, you bring with you a vast array of experience. I think patients trust you a bit more because you look a little bit more knowledgeable. Those wrinkles are lines of wiseness, is what I like to say. And, I love talking to people, and what better than talking to patients day in, day out, discussing their symptoms, discussing how they feel, discussing their life. A lot of the times when I'm on work placement in hospitals, I'll spend a little bit of time talking about their medical condition, but I love hearing about their life and stuff like that. So it turns out maybe I went into journalism because I loved communication, and I still love communication, and I just plan to use it in a different way. And the main reason why I went back was I wanted to be useful. I was just thinking, if Noah's Ark ever goes by that window, I want to be on it. I'm not sure people need an Irish language news reporter as much as they might need a doctor. So they're my reasons. Like I said, know your timeline, work off yours, find your confidence, know that I did it, or I'm doing it, I'm halfway through, know other people are doing it, and know there's loads of supports out there, and most colleges actively do look for a few mature students to balance out the class, bring a bit of experience, give people a second chance, a third chance at a career perhaps they always wanted or didn't know they wanted. And the big beauty of medicine is, even if you're done it and you've done your degree and you're thinking, God, I can't cope with being on hospitals for the rest of my life, that's okay. It's medicine. It's great. You can go do pathology. You can become a GP. You can have your own organisational medicine company. You can go off working in pharmaceuticals. You can work in research. You can do a whole vast array of things. You're not just stuck taking somebody's blood pressure for the rest of your life. And don't get me wrong, some people love doing that, some people don't. But that's the beauty of it. It's variety. And I think in this world we're living in now, where things are so uncertain, the great certainty about medicine is that caring people are always needed, and people who can look after people are always needed. And I don't know, I just think, what's cooler than that? I'm loving it. So if you're thinking of it, go for it. Really, I can just tell you, you won't regret it. Best of luck. Thanks for watching.